And can we just start by introducing ourselves?
Well, I'm Tamar. I'm the president of the Carousel House Advisory Council.
And I'm Mike Martin, treasurer of Carousel House Advisory Council.
I just want to first thank you both for joining this quick little conversation. I know what's happening is really important and we want to get the word out to as many people to be able to support you in this effort. Let's start just at the top. What has happened? What has the city announced? What's taking place? You all work at a rec center that is predominantly for or explicitly for the disabled community, and the city has just announced that they're going to shut it down and what, tear it down?
Yes, they're going to demolish it. First of all, we're volunteers at the recreational center, but we're a part of the advisory council. The advisory council is made up of parents, participants, concerned individuals, caregivers. So we don't actually physically work for the city of Philadelphia. We were informed on April the 13th that the Carousel House would be closed permanently. They cited that the reasoning for that is that it was unsafe. It needed extensive repairs. We were also informed that it would not reopen per se as the Carousel House, exclusively dedicated for people with disabilities. They had indicated that they were going to build a multi-million-dollar center there for all the community.
Yeah, so that's what I heard and saw on your social media. So they're tearing down this rec center. It's, from my understanding, the only rec center in the entire city of Philadelphia that's devoted explicitly to the disabled community. Is that right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
And so they're going to tear it down, rebuild it. And because of some like technical rule the city now has, they have to make it for everyone when they rebuild it. And that's going to make it not a center just for the disabled community. Is that right? So when they reopen it, it'll be for everyone, quote unquote.
That's their intention, but please realize this is a 34-year-old building. It's probably, if not the newest, one of the newest rec centers of the 165 rec centers. There's only 2 rec centers being torn down, and the one exclusively for the disabled is one of those rec centers. We feel that we're being unfairly targeted under any guise. They say that the building needs repairs. Well, we have placed work orders into the building for the last 15 years, into the city for the last 15 years. Same problems we did 15 years ago. It's more a problem of neglect than anything.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too from your social media, that, you know, buildings need repairs sometimes, so why not just repair it? So you just, wow, this is the first I'm hearing that you effectively just heard about this decision that the city made just a few weeks ago. So I'm sure that was a shock.
With no collaboration with us at all.
So no communication,
no
conversation, just a decision.
No, and you can't blame it on COVID, because we still meet once a month with the woman, our rec director, who works directly for the city. She kind of sits on our advisory council in the sense that she gives us updates about the city and things of that nature. So we've been in constant contact with them. It's not, you know, that we're out of contact because of COVID. This was a real shocker to us. I should mention, about 2 years ago, we were selected for the rebuild program, and I'm sure you know the rebuild program, and we were on the rebuild list. So we actually felt a certain sense of confidence in knowing that they were finally recognized as a problem, and we were on the rebuild list. So all of a sudden coming back and saying, now we're going to demolish you, that was really, you know, that was a real shocker to us.
And there's a slight connection issue, so I'm sorry about that. We're
no problem.
in the middle of a storm.
Yes.
Before we get into,
we're getting it real bad here.
Yeah. Before we get into sort of, you know, because you've just launched like an Instagram account and you're going to have a protest this coming Saturday at City Hall. Before we get into sort of what you would hope the city could do and how people can support sort of this movement to not have the rec center shut down, I want to ask maybe a very simple question. And, you know, for those who might not know, like why is it important to have a rec center that's explicitly for the disabled community? Why is that an important thing? You know, I asked that to say, you know, I assume there's people out there who are saying, wouldn't it be better if the center could be for you know, disabled folks and folks who don't experience any disability, and everyone can sort of come together and live in this kumbaya moment. But I know that that's not what it is, right? Like you need this space. There needs to be, you know, I was comparing it to like, imagine the city saying, well, there can't be gay bars because, you know, everyone can drink everywhere, right? It's like there needs to be these spaces for people, these safe spaces. So can you talk about the importance of having this disabled only space?
Tamar, you have
Well, for me,
25 years experience.
For me, I have a son that's intellectually disabled. And I know I've been at the Carousel House for 28 years. I know when I first found out about it, I found out from his school counselor, because he didn't participate in any type of social recreational activities at that time. He was about 11 or 12, and she told me about it. And I went to visit it. And once I walked into the place, it just felt like a second home to me. He liked it too, because I felt comfortable that he would be safe there. It was non-judgmental. He was around his peers. And he's developed friends over the years that last for a lifetime. His whole friendship circle is at the Carousel House with like peers and people with the same like-minded interests that he has. The staff is wonderful. Over the years, you know, they had dedicated staff. It's just like a wonderful place, calm and serene, and it just gives you the feeling of just being safe. You know, I don't have any problems with trusting the staff with my child, you know, because people with special needs are vulnerable. So I don't know. It's just, I just felt so relieved that I found this place for him where he could come together, meet people, like-minded people, and be around peers and not be judged or bullied or called names or looked at strange.
And, you know, that sense of community, like anything can come from it. I know in talking with y'all over DM on Instagram, there's a very popular movie on Netflix right now called Crip Camp that talks about camps for the disabled in the 70s and stuff. And like movements came out of that, protest movements, and progress was made from the relationships and sort of the safety and you know, friendships and relationships that were built out of camps like that. And I imagine a space like this is very much like that.
Well, I'll interject something. I would first tell you that our rally is at Carousel House this Saturday, not downtown. And I would also say that, you know, that movie was really good, and that movement was really good. But of the 165 rec centers right now, I bet you there's not 5 that are accessible. Number one, it isn't that you can, you know, they're all of a sudden going to make these. They're not accessible. They, you know, the buildings aren't equipped properly. It's not, you know, and it's a funding issue to a great extent to address this. But the city's response, or what they have told us, is that they are going to find 5 or, no, this was back in April, they told us this, 5 or 6 different centers and find and try programming in those centers, so that if you wanted to be in our, you might go to one center. If you wanted to be in ceramics, you might have to go to another center. So, you know, they're just moving us around anyway. So it's not, and in our center, we have everything right there. We have all those programs. We have a mailing list that's over 750 people. And I mean, it's not just a couple hundred people we're talking about. And I can show you mailing lists that we have sent out mail. We have programs that go 5 days a week, 9 to 9, and also programming on Saturday. And I don't know if you were able to sit in on the hearings, what was it, two Mondays ago, I guess. But there were some very compelling speakers that told their own stories about, the benefits to Carousel House.
Yeah, and so the long and short of it is this space is too important to lose. And so I know you all are working together with many members of the community and many outside to sort of fight for this space. What are the rally that's going to happen this Saturday? It's going to happen at Carousel House, as you mentioned. You've created an Instagram account where people can get up to date. What are you asking the city to do? Is it as simple as don't take down this facility, leave it up, and just make the necessary repairs? And who are we directing this at? Is this a mayoral thing? Is it Parks and Rec leader? Who are we focusing this attention to?
We're trying to do this in a multifaceted view, viewpoint for council members and Parks and Recreation department heads. Tamar, if you need to say something, please. I don't want you to.
No, you're on the right track. Yeah. Yeah, we're focusing on the,
but just
so
jump
far
in.
we've been focusing on city council and Parks and Rec.
Mhm. Yeah.
We want the city to repair the Carousel House and reopen and keep it exclusively for people with disabilities. They don't want to do that. They want to tear it down and they want to put up a new facility that would be for the whole community. And they can't even tell us what programs, if they did that, what programs would be there for special needs. But they want to farm out the special needs programs throughout the other recreational centers in the city. And it's just not feasible. Like Mike said, my son used to go to 2 or 3 programs on one day. So if one of his programs is in South Philly, another in North Philly, one in West Philly, and he's riding paratransit, that's not safe for him. Mm-hmm. So it was like, everything was under one roof, like I said, and that's what we want it to be. We feel as though that the recreation center should remain exclusively for people with disabilities. Number one, is fully accessible for the physically disabled. The staff there have received training in working with people with disabilities. And everybody, it's in a central location. We don't have to worry about gun violence, things of that nature. There's never been any violence or any gun issues there at the Carousel House. It's ample parking, no problems with CCT or anything. The parents can come in, sit down, and just wait for the participant. So we don't want this. We don't want the center to close. We want it to be rebuilt. We want it to be repaired and reopened.
And from what I've seen on, I got tuned into this because so many people were sharing your petitions. So many people were sharing this struggle, this fight that you're having, because it just logically makes so much sense. Of course, you want to keep, this center open, this community together. If you're going to split up all the things, people's friends might be 5 recreation centers over, and that sense of community is lost. Not to mention all of the hassles around transportation, as you mentioned, and other hassles. So, okay, if people are hopefully rightfully on your side of this fight, how do they tune in? Do they call their city council member? Do they call Parks and Rec, send letters, and maybe they come out to the Carousel House on Saturday? What is Saturday? The July
17th.
17th, what time?
11 a.m.
11 a.m. And then where's the Carousel House, by the way?
It's on Belmont Avenue and the Avenue of Republic. It's on the same street as the Please Touch Museum.
So is that where you're at right now? Come to the protest on Saturday and then call and email the council people and Parks and Rec?
Yes. And
tell them to save the Carousel House, keep the Carousel House open, and just make the repairs. Is that right?
That is, most of the repairs we feel can be done while our programming still goes on. And we do have some city council people that are interested in speaking at this rally. So there'll be quite a few speakers, although it's not going to be a long event because our population, especially on a hot day, we don't want to keep them outside. That's our plan. That's our plan. And we're going to
Like you're saying, don't be late. Be there at 11. Don't be late, Mike.
Be
Right?
there.
Ma'am.
Believe me, don't be there. You want to come early? I'll be there early.
There you go. Yeah, bring some donuts or coffee or something. I really appreciate this talk. I'm glad we're able to keep it concise because this is such an easy, for me anyway, and I think for all the people seeing it online, it's such an easy thing. What is happening is wrong and it needs to be changed. Maybe the powers that be thought they were doing the right thing, but if they're not listening to, the members of this community and the folks who are speaking out who use this facility, I don't know who they're listening to. Is there anything else we should mention while we still have you? Tamar, Mike?
First and foremost, I would tell you that for the last 34 years, we've been advocating for the disabled. And it is our goal that every rec center standards. If that were the case, if they had this, granted, there wouldn't be a need for a Carousel House, but that is not the case with the city. So therefore, this is our special place, and we'd like to keep it our special place.
Tamar, any closing words?
We would just like to tell everyone to advocate for Save the Carousel House, repair and reopen.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. I hope to see you on Saturday. I hope the weather's good. It's not too hot. It's not rainy like it is today. And again, I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you. We'll be there, rain or shine.
Thank you.
Rain or shine, yes, I'd be there regardless. Right, okay.
All right. Thank you.